Hi friends, welcome here. It has been over 3 years since I'm waking up. It was such a novel, exciting, lonely, and satisfying journey. This is a monumental turning point in my life. It's definitely worthwhile to review, reflect on what has happened. There could be many valuable lessons to pick up in hindsight from this experience. In the meantime, I may just share it publicly. Whoever are interested is probably is walking in a similar path. We will pick up new friends and encourage each other during this lonely walk. When I try to recount my waking up process, I need to stop from time to time to introduce my background information so we could make sense of where I came from and why I made such a decision at the moment. After doing so several times, I realized it might be reasonable to first introduce some of my relevant background information. So I won't need to repeat it again. I was born in an average family in China. In terms of GDP per capita, US was about 40 times of China when I was a kid. Most of the family were equally poor. Here, I would put my background information into three sections. Section 1, extremely brief personal history. Section 2, the belief system injected by our education in China. The Section 3, the turning point. Section 1, the extremely brief personal history. The first time period, a child believed in miracle. I still vividly remember the afternoon when I was in elementary school. I typically spent about half an hour walking home from school. When I stepped outside of the classroom, the cloud is dark. It's about to rain heavily, and I don't have an umbrella with me. I started to run, but a few minutes later, I was out of breath and slowed down. You know what? I told myself, I don't need to run. The run will not start until I'm back home. So I just keep walking as usual and held belief walk at a normal pace as I did. After another over 20 minutes, when my right foot stepped into the front door of our house, the rain began to pouring down like a cat and dog. I was shocked. That child believed in miracles. The second period, inspirational adolescent. After I finished the junior high, I wished to end high school, then college education. But my family insisted to let me enroll in a technical school, which was designed to prepare for the job without a college education. I was not aware what it really meant for me then. At the second year in the technical school, I started the internship with a factory. Then I can see what kind of boring life, just a surviving life, if I follow that path. This is far away from the dream life I envisioned. At the age of 16, I swore to myself, from now on, I will let nobody interfere with my pursuit of my dream. So I put all my energy together into building myself. When I get exhausted and resting in the bed, I still daydreaming my vision. Then I feel high again and jumped up to continue the work. Eventually, I came to US for graduate school and found my dream job in financial industry. The third period, logical adult, I started to work as a quantitative researcher in financial industry. We check debt, build a model, calculate the risk and reward, design and test the strategies, optimize the risk-adjusted return for the long run. Logic runs every part of my work, then permeates every corner of my life. I became a logical adult, no longer believe in miracles as a child. So that was a distinctive, different period of my life. From a child, believing in miracles, to inspirational adolescent, then stabilized as a logical adult. Section 2, the belief system injected by education in China. The education we received in China was typically atheist. The core belief injected by the education is Marxism with the implied materialism. As Mao said, once we learn the math, science, and technology, we can work anywhere with confidence. The education there was heavily biased on STEM topics and watered down the humanity, art, and social study topics. And the history teaching there was severely tempered. As a result, most young people were keen into science and technology, but with much less common sense in history, humanity, and social study topics. Young people tend to be smart, but little wisdom. So basically, the only observable, verifiable signs are trustable and real. All other non-observable, like a ghost, religious teaching, are superstitious, are fantasies. Buddhism and Taoism religions do exist in China, but I, like most other young people with similar Marxism and materialism education, we don't really believe in the religions. We may visit the temples, but just for the tourism purpose. In the materialist view, we worship the technology. Technology brings power, prosperity, and the confidence of domination. US was a center of innovation, commercialization, and the powerhouse of economic prosperity. US was my number one destination for my further exploration in education and prosperity. So I came to US for graduate school in computer science. Now we talk about the section 3, the turning point. In 2020, when COVID started, there were 3 factors that combined together that made a big shift in my life. The first, we stopped the work. I stopped the work position with the Hong Kong employer. Second, the COVID brought a lot of uncertainty and panic. We stayed at home most of the time. The third, our third child was born. Finally, I got a chance to stop, began to think politics, history, and humanities. That was a turning point in my life. All right. See you next time, my friend.